Let's call the next witness, please.
The people recall Georgia Longstreet.
Ms. Longstreet, you are still under oath. You may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Welcome back, Ms. Longstreet. Can you remind everyone where you work and what your position is?
Yes. I work for the New York County District Attorney's Office, and I am a paralegal.
The last time you were here, I believe you testified that your duties and responsibilities include locating and saving social media posts relevant to the case.
Yep.
Is that your primary job function, or do you have many other duties and responsibilities in addition to that one?
Many other duties and responsibilities.
Do your other duties and responsibilities include analyzing materials produced to the District Attorney's Office in response to subpoenas?
Yes.
Does that include analyzing records of communications like text messages and call messages?
Yes.
Does that include analyzing contact information?
Yes.
Does it include matching contact information to text and call records?
Yes.
Do your duties and responsibilities also include locating and reviewing filings from other court proceedings that may be relevant to this case?
Yes.
And do they also include keeping track of key events related to the case?
Yes.
Now, you previously testified that you were assigned to work on a matter involving Donald Trump about a year and a half ago, right?
Yep.
Are you the only paralegal who works on this matter?
I am not.
Who else works on the matter with you in the paralegal capacity?
There are two other paralegals, Nishant Baumik and Jaden Jarmel Schneider.
In addition to your own work, are you familiar with the work done by the other paralegals on the case?
Yes.
How are you familiar with that?
I like to think we all work as one. We all kind of do the same things.
And do you know what work they do in addition to your own?
Yep.
As part of your role on the matter involving Donald Trump, are you, Mr. Baumik, and Mr. Jarmel Schneider responsible for reviewing materials produced to the DA's office in response to subpoenas?
Yes.
And does that include analyzing records of communications like text messages and phone calls?
Yes.
Does that include analyzing contact information that is relevant to this case?
Yes.
And does that include matching contact information to text and call records for this case?
Yes.
Are the records provided to the District Attorney's Office for this case in multiple different formats?
Yes.
Are you, Mr. Baumik, and Mr. Jarmel Schneider required to analyze and work with the data in all of those different formats?
Yes.
And is the data provided in different time zones?
Yes.
And are you, as part of your job, required to convert time zones in order to analyze the data?
Yes.
In total, approximately, how many pages of text messages have you, Mr. Baumik, and Mr. Jarmel Schneider reviewed in connection with the case?
Pages, I would say maybe like 2,500.
How many have you personally reviewed?
Probably around 100.
Approximately, how many pages of call records have you, Mr. Baumik, and Mr. Jarmel Schneider reviewed in connection with the case?
Over 10,000 pages.
And how many have you personally reviewed?
Probably around 2,000 to 3,000.
Approximately, how much contact information have you and the other paralegals reviewed in connection with the case?
Probably around 300 to 500 pages.
And how many have you personally reviewed?
100 to 200.
Approximately, how many contacts have you and the other paralegals have had to match with text and phone records?
About 50.
Did you and Mr. Baumik and Mr. Jarmel Schneider also review and save public court filings that could be relevant to the case?
Yes.
Approximately, how many legal proceedings did you and the other paralegals review and save items from?
Approximately 75 different cases.
Approximately, how many different court filings total did you and the paralegal team review and save?
About 500.
Through your work on the case, are you familiar with dates of important court filings?
Yes.
Before testifying today, did you have an opportunity to review files marked for identification as People's Exhibits 407F, 407G, 407H, and 407I?
Yes.
Are they public posts from the Twitter handle at Real Donald Trump?
Yes.
Who retrieved and saved those posts?
I did.
Did you save them in a particular way?
I did.
And did you save them in the same way that you saved the previous Twitter posts that we discussed last time?
Yes.
Can you briefly remind the jury what that was?
Yes. So I just used the platform or the tool that we have to screenshot, and I then screenshot the post, save it to a folder that was relevant to the post, and then hash the post.
And hashing, again, is a way to uniquely identify each post?
Yeah.
Are these exhibits exact copies of the public posts that you saved and hashed?
Yes.
The people now offer into evidence Exhibits 407F, G, H, and I.
Your Honor, the same objection as discussed last week.
Your objection is noted and overruled. People's Exhibits 407F, G, H, and I are accepted into evidence.
All right. Can you please display what's now in evidence as People's Exhibit 407F? Ms. Longstreet, is this a Twitter post?
Yes.
And I think last time you explained some aspects of the social media platform Twitter and how it operated in 2016?
Yep.
In addition to those questions, can you explain what a thread is?
Yes. So Twitter has a character limit which only allows you to put a certain amount of characters for one tweet. So, a way that some users are able to get around the character limit is by posting multiple tweets in the same thread, so they are kind of connected to each other in a sense.
And is this an example of a thread?
Yes.
Is the first post? I am sorry. Is the top post shown here the first one in time?
Yep.
Were all of these posts made the same day?
Yes.
What Twitter handle was used to make these posts?
@RealDonaldTrump.
What's the date and time shown for the top post?
April 21st, 2018 at 9:10 a.m.
Can you please focus on just the top post? Can you read the top post to the jury?
Yes. The New York Times and a third-rate reporter named Maggie Haberman, known as a Crooked H flunky, who I don't speak to and have nothing to do with, are going out of their way to destroy Michael Cohen and his relationship with me in the hope that he will flip. They use ...
Can you pull up the bottom two posts, please? Can you read those?
Non-existent sources and a drunk/drugged-up loser who hates Michael, a fine person with a wonderful family. Michael is a businessman for his own account/lawyer who I always liked and respected. Most people will flip if the government lets them out of trouble, even if it means lying or making up stories. Sorry. I don't see Michael doing that despite the horrible witch hunt and the dishonest media.
What's the date for all three of the posts?
April 21st, 2018.
You can take that down. Did the court filings that you reviewed include a federal criminal case for Michael Cohen?
Yes.
Was one of the court filings the paralegal team saved for that case a guilty plea?
Yes.
Do you know the date of that guilty plea?
I believe it was August 21st, 2018.
Now, can we please display what is in evidence as People's Exhibit 407H? Can you see that, Ms. Longstreet?
Yes.
Is this another Twitter post?
Yes.
What Twitter handle was used to make this post?
@RealDonaldTrump.
And what is the date and time for this post?
It ends August 22nd, 2018 at 8:44 a.m.
Can you please read this to the jury?
If anyone is looking for a good lawyer, I would strongly suggest that you don't retain the services of Michael Cohen.
And is there an explanation point end of that post?
Yes, sorry.
And can we take this down and display what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 407I? Is this another Twitter post that you pulled and saved?
Yes.
What is the Twitter handle used to make this post?
@RealDonaldTrump.
What is the date and time shown for this post?
August 22nd, 2018 at 9:21 a.m.
And is that the same day as the last post we just saw?
Yes.
How long after the post we just saw was this one posted?
I would have to see the timestamp.
It's fine, but it was posted the same day?
Yes.
Can you read this post to the jury?
Yes. I feel very badly for Paul Manafort and his wonderful family. Justice took a 12-year-old tax case, among other things, applied tremendous pressure on him, and unlike Michael Cohen, he refused to make up stories in order to get a deal. Such respect for a great man. Explanation point.
All right. We can take that down. Now, finally, can we display what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 407G, please? Can you flip through the pages of this exhibit quickly? Ms. Longstreet, is this another Twitter post that you saved?
Yes.
Is this another example of a thread?
Yes.
And how many parts does this thread have?
3.
What was the Twitter handle used to make these posts?
@RealDonaldTrump.
And what is the date and time shown for the top post?
May 3rd, 2018 at 6:46 a.m.
And can you please read the post for the jury?
Mr. Cohen, an attorney, received a monthly retainer, not from the campaign and having nothing to do with the campaign, from which he entered into through reimbursement a private contract between two parties, known as a non-disclosure agreement or NDA. These agreements are ...
Then move to the second post to the thread.
Very common amongst celebrities and people of wealth. In this case, it is in full force and effect, and will be used in arbitration for damages against Ms. Clifford Daniels. The agreement was used to stop the false and extortionist accusations made by her about an affair.
And is this now the final post in the thread?
Yes. Despite already having signed a detailed letter admitting that there was no affair, prior to its violation by Ms. Clifford and her attorney, this was a private agreement. Money for the campaign or campaign contributions played no role in this transaction.
Thank you. Can we take that down, please? Now, can we show everyone what's already in evidence as People's Exhibit 171A? Ms. Longstreet, do you recognize this?
Yes.
And how do you recognize it?
This was something that the paralegal team had to analyze in response to subpoena compliance.
So this was produced. This is a document that was produced to the DA's office pursuant to a subpoena?
Yes.
And you and the paralegal team analyzed the document after it was received?
Yes.
Can you please blow up the 2 middle columns? And do you see contact information in those middle columns?
Yes.
Based on your work on the case, can you identify the individuals associated with the contact information provided there?
Yes.
So looking first on the left, there is something redacted, and then it says, adelinhoward.com. Is that an email address?
Yes.
Do you know who that email address is associated with?
Yes.
Who is it?
Dylan Howard.
And do you see just below that there is an email address that ends dwighticommunications.com?
Yes.
Based upon your work on the case, can you identify the individual associated with that email address?
Yes.
Who is it?
Dylan Howard.
Looking now to the other column, do you see where it just has the letter G?
Yes.
And there are the last 4 digits of the phone number shown there?
Yeah.
Based on your work on the case, can you identify the individual associated with that phone number?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Gina Rodriguez.
Now, if we take a look at the second page of the PDF, the same 2 columns, can we show both the blue and green portions near the top? So which column? Here is the to column, and which is the from column?
The to column is on the left, and the from column is on the right.
Is that typical, or is it more standard to have those columns switched?
It's more standard to have them switched.
Now, can we look at the text? A few of the text messages on the right, please. Ms. Longstreet, based on your analysis of the various calls and text messages, can you tell what time zone this is in?
Yes.
What time zone is that?
UIC.
What is UTC time?
UTC time is a standardized time zone for everybody. So I don't remember exactly what UTC stands for. It's 3 hours ahead based, depending on when daylight savings is.
Does it correspond with time zones in London?
Yes.
So the New York time zone for these might depend on whether it was daylight savings time or not?
Yes.
If we can zoom back out, do you see there are portions of this exhibit that have been redacted?
Yes.
Who redacted this?
I did.
All right. Now, turning back to the first page of the document, focusing on the first 5 text messages on the right and showing the to and from column. Were all of these text messages sent on the same date?
Yes.
What date is that?
April 7th, 2016.
Can you please read these text messages to the jury, identifying who they're from and who they're to?
So this first one is from Mrs. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard, and it says, Stormy Daniels was his mistress. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. I bet she was. Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Can you email me on that? Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Yes, I will send you what I have. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Great.
Can we now turn to page 2 of the PDF? Focus on the last 5 text messages shown in the document. Were these all sent on the same date?
Yes.
What date was that?
June 28th, 2016.
Can you please read these to the jury? Include who they're from and who they're to?
Yes. So this first one is from Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Stormy Daniels. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. I have her. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Is she ready to talk? From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. I thought she denounced it previously. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. She said she will do it under 2 conditions.
And can we turn now to the next page of the PDF? I know the font is pretty small, but are you able to see the date of all of the text messages on this page?
Yes.
Are they all the same date?
Yes.
And what is that date?
June 28th, 2016.
The same date as the page before?
Yes.
And can you please read the top text message on the page?
Yes, from Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. She never did.
And can you pull up? We'll skip next text and pull up the following 4. Can you please read these to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. She doesn't want to go on record about it, but will tell the story through a source. She will take she's had sex with him. She wants $100K. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Once or ongoing relationship. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. A couple of times. And he promised her a condo, a spot on The Apprentice. She went to the Miss America pageant. He got her in. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. He never did anything for her.
Can you pull up the bottom 2 text messages on the page? Can you read those to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. She met him at a celebrity golf tournament. She was there with wicked pictures. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Okay. Let me get back to you.
Turning now to the next page of the document. Can you see text messages starting on the date, June 29th, 2016?
Yes.
And can we please pull up the first 3 text messages from that date? And can you read those to the jury once they're up?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Any word on Stormy? From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Question mark. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Have got to discuss it with the chief.
Now, can we blow up the last 2 text messages on that page? What is the date of these text messages?
July 23, 2016.
And can we please read those to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. What happened with the Stormy Daniels interview on Trump? From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Let's discuss it this week.
Now, turning to the next page of the PDF. Turning to the top 6 text messages on that page. Are these all from the same date?
Yes.
Same date as the page before?
Yes.
That's July 23, 2016.
Yes.
And can you read these to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Okay. She asking. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Let's talk face to face. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Okay. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. What day this week? From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. I am there Sunday night through Wednesday, maybe Thursday. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Let's meet Thursday.
Can we skip a couple of text messages, then show the next 2? Can you please, I am sorry, what is date of these text messages?
July 29, 2016.
Can you please read these to the jury?
Yes. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. I'm trying to get Cohen here on Monday on something, so stand by. We'll know tomorrow. Keep that between us. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Want to come Monday too?
Can we turn to the next page of the PDF, please? Can we show just the top portion of just the second text message on the page. What is date of this text message?
July 31st, 2016.
Who is it from?
Ms. Rodriguez.
And can you read this to the jury?
Yes. Whatever happened with the Stormy Daniels interview?
And can we take that down? Ms. Longstreet, do you see any other text messages from that date?
No.
Can we please pull up the next 3 text messages? Were these all sent on the same date?
Yes.
What date?
August 8th, 2016.
Can you please read these to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Call me. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. It will have to be later on. Wall-to-wall meetings for a few hours. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Okay.
Now, can we pull up the last 4 text messages on that page? And actually, before we do that, can we flip to the next page of the PDF? Do you see the date for the text messages on this page?
Yes.
And what is the date for the top set of text messages?
October 8th, 2016.
And do you see the timestamps?
Yes.
What are the timestamps for the top few text messages?
23 hours, 39 minutes, and 52 seconds in UTC time.
How about the text messages on the bottom of that page?
The timestamp.
What is the date?
October 9th, 2016.
And what does the timestamp show?
They are all between 0017 and 0019.
And is that in UTC time?
Yes.
So what would the dates for all of these text messages, New York?
October 8th, 2016.
Can we now go back to the previous page and blow up the bottom 4 text messages? Are these from October 8th?
Yes.
Can you read these to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Stormy Daniels and Trump with her is up on the dirty, and Fox News has been calling. Stormy has not confirmed or spoken. Are you interested? From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. She will confirm on record. Question mark. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Yes. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Can you email me the pitch on Stormy? I need to elevate it to my CEO.
Can you flip to the next page and show the top 3 text messages? And can you read these to the jury?
Yes. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. He likely will pay. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Yes, I will send to you. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Okay.
And can we please pull up the next 5 text messages? And can you please read these to the jury?
From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. How much for Stormy? From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. $250K. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. You have that bid? From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Yes, working on it. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. GMA wants her too.
Turning now to the next page of the PDF and looking at the date and timestamps of the text messages on this page. What is the date shown for all of these text messages?
October 9th, 2016.
And what is the timestamp range for these?
0019 to 0021 in UTC time.
And what date would these be in New York?
October 8th, 2016.
Same as the ones we just looked at?
Yes.
Focusing on after the first text messages, the following 3. Can you read these to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Daily Mail 2. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Well, I would buy it, but I ain't got $250K LOL. GMA can't pay her. They can license pics, etc. I will tie it up ASAP if we can get realistic price. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. How much?
Can we please blow up the bottom 4 text messages on that page? Can you please read these to the jury?
Yes, from Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. I can get 100. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. LOL. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Okay, what about 150K from Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez? 110.
Can we please go to the next page? Can we please blow up the top 4 text messages? Can you read these to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard, 125K. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez, LOL. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez, 120. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard, sold.
And leaving this up for a second, do you see the date and timestamps for these text messages?
Yes.
What is the date of all of them?
October 9th, 2016.
What is the timestamp range for these?
Of 21:27 to 21:50 UTC time.
And is it your understanding that these are all October 8th, 2016 in New York time?
Yes.
Can we please pull up the next 4 text messages? I'm sorry, the next 3 text messages. Can you please read? I am sorry. Withdrawn. What are the dates of the top 2 text messages here?
October 9th, 2016.
And were they sent shortly after the text messages we just saw?
Yes.
Can you please read these to the jury?
From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. I'm at dinner. I will email contract when back at hotel or first thing in AM from Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Okay.
And what is the 3rd text message there? What is the date and timestamp of that one?
October 9th, 2016. At 18 hours 54 minutes and 31 second UTC time.
What would the date for this one be in New York?
October 9th, 2016.
Can you read this one to the jury?
From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Daily Mail is offering 200.
Thank you. You can take that down. Moving on to the next page of the PDF. Can you please highlight the top 2 text messages on the page? Ms. Longstreet, what are the dates of these text messages?
October 9th, 2016.
Can you read these to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. I haven't told them anything except what I put in email yesterday. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. They signed NDA and sent over. I haven't responded.
We can take those down. Can we please blow up the following 2 text messages? What is the date of these text messages?
October 10th, 2016.
Can you read these to the jury?
Yes. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. And Stormy leaves tomorrow to go back home. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez in a few hours.
Can we pull up the messages, please? What is the date of these?
October 17th, 2016.
And can you read these to the jury?
From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. We're not doing the Trump deal. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Keith gave me heads up. What happened? From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. They didn't pay when said they would, and they keep trying to buy more time. Daily Mail wants it bad, so we're doing it. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Fair call. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Their loss. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Agreed.
Turning now to the next page of the PDF. Can we blow up the 5th text message down and the 5 text messages there? What is the date of these text messages?
October 19th, 2016.
Can you read these to the jury?
From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Spoke to Keith last night and we're all good. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Okay. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Sorted out. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Redacted. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Good.
And can we please pull up the next 2 text messages? What is date of these text messages?
October 25th, 2016.
Turning now to the next page of the PDF. Are all of the text messages on this page also that same date?
Yes.
Going back 1 page and pulling up the bottom 3 text messages. Can you read the top 2 to the jury?
From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. On phone with Katie and Stormy. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Okay. I blew a gasket at his people and told them not to fuck with people. Message made and heard.
Turning now to the next page. Can you highlight the bottom 5 text messages on this page? Can you read these to the jury?
Yes. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. I had to apologize to my CEO. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. I explained that 2 people saved his ass today and meeting his call with his people, and I am going to tell them how it's going to be. From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. Thank you so much. You think it will happen? From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Yes. They were told in no uncertain terms. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. I'm not going to burn my lifelong contact for these fuckers.
And turning to the next page of the PDF, starting with the text message. The first text message dated October 26, 2016. Can you pull up those first three? Can you read these to the jury?
From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. They didn't pay and she doesn't believe it and she's doing her press conf in the morning. She hired another attorney. From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. What deadline did they have? From Ms. Rodriguez to Mr. Howard. This morning.
And can we turn to the next page of the PDF, please? And highlight the last text message on the page. What is the date of that text message?
October 26, 2016.
And can you read that to the jury?
From Mr. Howard to Ms. Rodriguez. Good news, I hear.
I have no further questions.
Your witness.
Good morning again, Ms. Longstreet. How are you?
Good, how are you?
We spoke last Friday, correct?
We did.
So I'm not going to re-ask all the questions that I asked last Friday about the work that you did. The first was talking about the tweets and the truths that you reviewed. I believe you testified last week, but correct me if I'm wrong, that you reviewed thousands of tweets and truths as part of your work on this case.
I did.
And the tweets that we saw today, again, you didn't select which ones to put up out of the thousands that you reviewed. For example, the table here and to my right selected them, right?
That's correct.
And since you testified last Friday, have you been tasked with doing any additional social media reviews of anybody involved in this case?
Like additional review that wasn't already being done before?
Yes.
No.
So you're still not reviewing Mr. Cohen's TikTok?
Not currently, no.
You're not aware of something that he TikToked 2 nights ago, for example, on Wednesday night?
Objection.
Overruled.
I am not.
Turning to the number of text messages that you just read back and forth, you've been in court every day during this trial, correct?
Correct.
And you were here when Mr. Pecker testified?
Yes.
And you're aware that he was shown a number of text messages that he was a participant in, correct?
Yes.
And when he was shown text messages that he was a participant in, you recall questions being asked of him about what he meant by that or what his understanding was of what somebody else sent to him.
Yes.
And you agree that the text messages that you just read, you have no personal knowledge about the reason they were sent or even whether they were accurate when they were sent by either of the folks, Ms. Rodriguez or Mr. Howard. Do you?
No personal knowledge, no.
When, for example, Ms. Rodriguez talks about offers from the Daily Mail and the timing of those offers, you have no knowledge about whether she was telling the truth. Do you?
No.
And you have no knowledge about any of the no knowledge about the truthfulness or the reasoning behind the text that Mr. Howard sent in response, or because of whatever Ms. Rodriguez said, correct?
Can you ask that again?
Sure. You have no personal knowledge about either the communications that Mr. Howard initiated or that he responded to in the series of text messages that you just read to the jury, correct?
Correct.
It's a long way of saying you just read what was written on the exhibit, correct?
Yes.
And that's different, would you agree, than when Mr. Pecker was asked about the reasoning behind text messages and what he meant by that, correct?
Yes.
And same with Ms. Hicks?
Yes.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Now, by the way, the same with the text messages of Mr. Cohen, correct, meaning you didn't read any today, but you have reviewed as part of your work on this case, text messages sent and received from Mr. Cohen as well, correct?
Yes.
Now, going back briefly to the social media that you reviewed, were you also tasked with reviewing Ms. Daniels' social media over the last couple of years?
Yes.
And are you continuing to review it during this trial?
Yes.
Did you review it, for example, this week or last night?
Not last night, but I think earlier in the week at some point, yeah.
And as part of that review, not limiting it to Ms. Daniels, but to all the parties that you're reviewing, when you observe something that you believe to be interesting, what's the process that you use to alert that to your team?
Well, I think it depends. I think there are some things that I just know for a fact we would want to have saved to our case file. There are other things I have a question about. I will call one of the attorneys and ask them if they think I should pull it or not.
Basically not to. But based upon the information you provide them, the prosecutors that you work with decide whether to use it or not use it, correct?
Basically, yeah.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
This video was brought to you by my supporters on Indiegogo. YouTube will not monetize these videos, so I can only afford to keep making them with your support. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please donate to my Indiegogo campaign so we can finish this trial. You can find the campaign linked at the top of the description or scan the QR code on screen now.